Get ready, your volume's coming.
Not yet. Oh, there, we're getting something. I'm here. All
All
right.
right, they're on.
Thank you, trustee Mohica. Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay, so I started with what is Veterans Day? Veterans Day is an annual public holiday on November 11th that honors all military veterans. It was originally established as Armistice Day in 1919 to commemorate the end of World War I. But the name was changed in 1954 to honor all those who have served in the U.S. military. The day is marked with national ceremonies, parades, and other patriotic events. So every year, one of the biggest restaurant events is Veterans Day. Across the nation, many businesses honor this day by giving away a free meal, a coffee, a discount, or a special, something off a special menu where vets can go and be honored. An event and something such as free coffee. As a veteran, I would like to say that I appreciate the time, resources, and effort it takes to serve fellow veterans in this township. And as part of the board, I would like to recognize the businesses in Delta Township who participated on this day. In the span of like Saginaw Highway, there's many businesses that joined for that day to participate. This year, just to give you a few, Outback had a fixed menu to choose from. Texas Roadhouse, every year, if you see the flag, they have a flag that's on the, but they give out a coupon for free meal every year that can be used at a later date. Bob Evans gives a free breakfast. Dunkin' Donuts does a free donut. Little Caesars gave like a deep dish pizza box with a drink. And the one that I always go to every year is Applebee's. They have a fixed menu with a lot of choices. There's a lot of other establishments like Logan's, Denny's, and Cracker Barrel, One North, Olive Garden. And this is not a full list, but these are some of the ones that I have visited. The establishments that I went to, I found that the staff was friendly, and I did not come across any server who was negative in any way about this day. The best part was to be surrounded by other veterans, hear their stories, and still feel the camaraderie when talking about our experiences. For all of this, Delta Township businesses, I once again say thank you for making veterans feel special and honored on Veterans Day.
Thank you. I just want to add that our transit companies give free transit all year round for veterans. So
Sorry, again, yeah, I wasn't in all this, but I just thought it was really important because when you look on the list every year, there's like a huge list of participating food establishments and non-food establishments. And Delta Township was pretty much like 50% of those businesses that was on that list, close to 50%. But that's a lot of meals. And I asked Applebee's, and they've been doing this for 18 years. And when I spoke to one of the managers, they said that they've given away millions of meals since they first started. So I just thought that day, like everywhere I went was busy, but everyone was friendly. Again, I didn't have like any server that was upset or anything because they were giving out free meals or anything like that. But I just want to thank those businesses because those are free meals, free coffees, things that they give away. So thank you very much.
thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We appreciate you and all of the veterans, and we do have some amazing businesses here in our township, and we know they do that everywhere, but we're proud of our businesses in Delta Township for what they do for all of the veterans. So thank you so much for that. Next, I do have the resolution. So we are going to move back to number 1, and I'm going to come up and I'm looking for Mary Quaz. Am I saying it right? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. And I don't know if Marcus, if you'd like to come up as well, and Mary Clark, do you have a hand in this as well? How are you? Thank you so much. All right, there's a lot of whereases here in very small font, so I'm going to do the best I can with this tonight. Whereas Mary Quaz. Okay, very good. Mary Quaz on September 30th, 2024 successfully completed her 3.5 term on the Delta Township Parks and Recreation and Cemeteries Commission after having faithfully served township residents since April 1, 2014, long time, and served through half of the fourth term for a total of 10 and a half years. And whereas Mary and her husband, Bob, hello, Bob, have been an integral part of the Delta Township and Waverly community, joining the Delta Township community in 2013 upon their retirement when they purchased a home in the Grand Woods neighborhood. And whereas Mary's service and devotion to the Township and the Parks, Recreation, and Cemeteries Commission have proven to be a great benefit to Delta Township and its residents. Mary began serving as Parks, Recreation, and Cemeteries Commissioner in 2014 and dedicated 10 and a half years to the commission, earning nominations from her peers to serve as Secretary of the Parks, Recreation, and Cemeteries Commission. And whereas Mary approached her responsibilities with diligence, thoroughly reviewing and analyzing agenda items before meetings, and was always prepared with insightful and tough questions. I like that, Mary. Mary also fostered meaningful discussions and made well-informed decisions that considered all perspectives. Notably, Mary was a true steward of green spaces, active on every winding path and every towering tree. Mary she saw beauty and helped others see it too, such as through the Nature Walk series that she and her husband initiated and led. And whereas Mary served as a commissioner, liaison, and representative for the Delta Senior Council and was an avid supporter of programs and trips for seniors. And whereas Mary is a well-recognized and widely respected writer, good, writer and researcher who previously worked for the Arkansas Anthropological Survey, excuse me for that, and with her husband researched and provided key historical information on Delta Township's parks, which supported grants submitted to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. And whereas Jim has been a volunteer for the Friends of the Delta Township District Library for 8 years, he served on the board since 2021, and within 2 years of joining, took the position of the bookstore director with vigor. And whereas Mary has shown outstanding leadership and dedication throughout Delta Township and the surrounding community, she has served on the board of the Delta Township Historical Society, as well as the Historical Society of Greater Lansing. She has been a member of the Delta Waverly Garden Club and has served as a liaison for the Delta Senior Savvies, or Savvy Seniors, which I love that group. And she currently serves as an archivist for the Lansing Women's Club. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved, the Delta Township Board commends Mary Quaz 10 and a half years of dedicated service to the residents of Delta Township, and be it further resolved that the board hereby offers its sincere gratitude and best wishes for continued success and fulfillment in your future endeavors. So thank you on behalf of the board. If these two would like to say something as well, because they've worked with you for a long, long, long period of time. So please go right ahead.
I would just like to say I'm honored by this recognition. And I would like to say that I feel that Delta Township has one of the finest parks system in the area. I particularly appreciate the hard work that Marcus and his staff have done at getting grants, which have allowed us to expand that park system even more. And looking forward, a couple of things close to my heart. I would like to say that as we expand all of our recreational activities, that we also be mindful as good stewards of the natural environment that we hold dear. And I look forward to our new senior center that's opening soon. And I would encourage you to consider appointing a new senior center advisory committee who could work with, who are current members of the township and have been involved in the programming, have participated in the programming, and to be open to new ideas they might bring for new programs. So, thank you very much.
Marcus and Mary, anything you want to say?
I just want to acknowledge Mary and Bob's, on their walks, they truly know what's happening in the parks and have a number of occasions identified invasive species that we can then address. And it's their attention to detail that has saved us on that. So I appreciate that.
First of all, congratulations to Mary and thank you both, Mary and Bob. We went through a transition with grant writing with the Land and Water Conservation Fund a few years ago, where it was going to be an additional expense for municipalities to have architects and so on take care of the state historic preservation form. And we were lucky enough to have these two professionals and fund residents who did all the research, not only for Delta Township, but specifically Sharp Park, and were able to submit that with our grant and, certainly save us on the expense side as far as submitting the grant. But that's just one of a number of things that Mary has done for the township. She still keeps me straight on Grand West Park, so I still know that from time to time when there's graffiti or things like that. But we're certainly working with her and very thankful that she continues to share her eyes on our parks.
And now if I could invite the board members to come up and we get a group picture with Mary and Bob. And I'll have you all. Thanks, Bob. Is that okay? Get pictures with you. Thanks for Mary. Good seeing I'm not a fast walker in heels. Sorry. Okay, we're going to continue with our agenda, and we are now at the point of getting a motion to accept our agenda as presented. Is there such a motion? Thank you, Trustee Mohica. Is there support?
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions? Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. That motion passes unanimously. We are down to, there are a couple of communication pieces that are, that were a part of the pack today. The first one is a Willow Force Main project update. I don't know if Manager Reed has anything else to say about that other than what's presented in the packet. Perfect. And the second one was a letter that we received from CATA Area Transportation Authority. This was after the election. We know that the election took place and that millage did not pass. And so we did receive a correspondence from CATA that beginning January 12th, 2026, that Route 3 will terminate at the Lansing Mall. So it will not continue beyond January 12th. And I want to personally say thank you to CATA and all of the people that were a part of that pilot program. It was an amazing program, and I am sorry that it's not continuing, but we took it to the voters, and this is how it passed, and we're going to keep moving forward. We'll just keep moving forward from here. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. If there's any other comments from the board about the communication, please go ahead.
Well, I'll just make a comment, not necessarily about the broader impact of
Yes.
the communication. There are a number of leadership organizations in the Tri-County area that have public transportation and the expansion of public transportation and partnerships as part of their strategic plans. And I have spoken to each of them and encourage them when opportunity knocks again, assuming at some point in the future, they will have an opportunity to speak positively about one of their strategic goals, that they do that in a enthusiastic way.
Thank you so much, Clerk. Anything else with regards to the two pieces of communication? Okay, we are now on to public comments. We welcome you to join us at the podium if there are some things you want to share with the board today. You have 3 minutes. We will not respond back to you because we're here to listen to you. And we welcome anything you'd like to share with us. So is there anyone who's interested in coming up for public comment? Not tonight, no takers. Okay, well, we're gonna keep moving right along. We are now at the consent agenda, and that does require a motion. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Clerk Clark. Is there support? It's been moved and supported. Any questions? Any discussion? If not, roll call. Clerk Clark.
Clerk Clark is yes. Trustee Lyman.
Aye.
Trustee Mohica.
Yes.
Trustee Cascarella. Trustee Bowen. Treasurer Fedewa.
Yes.
Supervisor Brewer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Wonderful. We are now down to new items of business, and the first one is the DNR grant agreement regarding the Webster Road Bridge pathway. And is Marcus coming up to talk to us about that? Marcus Kilpatrick, give us a little brief orientation on that.
Thank you. So this is a 2024 DNR grant, one of several grants that we were honored, blessed, thankful to receive for the Webster Bridge project. You may recall past TAP funding. You may recall an Eaton County grant to take care of the design fees. And based upon the grant funding that we have received along with the DNR grant, this should certainly be a project, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but a project that would not cost the township any great amount to complete the project. So what you have before you tonight is a step in the process where the board must approve accepting the grant. And it's the $400,000 grant, and the township will provide the remaining match, i.e. the other grant funds that we have.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions?
I'll make a motion though.
Okay, go right ahead.
I'd like to move that the Delta Township Board accepts the terms and agreement of Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund Grant 24-0055 as received from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. The trust fund grant will provide $400,000 and the township will provide a match of $836,000.
Is there support?
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
I just want to thank staff for their perseverance on this. I know it was fits and starts and everything, and it was quite a juggling act with the different types of balls you had to juggle between the different granting agencies and the coordination of the jurisdictions and all that. So it's often a case that you can get discouraged by the bureaucratic malaise that can happen on that. So again, I think perseverance is been borne out on this, and it certainly will when the project is constructed. So again, I appreciate staff's perseverance on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are on number 9, conveyance of Enna Drive parcel to Eaton County Road Commission, and here comes Peter to tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you, board members. So appreciate the opportunity to be able to explain this issue tonight. So if you turn to probably the most important piece of information is the map. It's on page 34 in your PDF if you're looking at the digital version of the meeting packet. So there's a 66 by 290 foot parcel that is at the northern, it's called Enna Drive. It's in a development. It's called Enna Industrial Development. And it's on the west side of Canal, south of the highway. So they're south of 496. So it's just an area where there's industrial developments in this area. We had a project this summer that approved a 40,000 square foot industrial building on the west side of Enid Drive, north of where this parcel is located. As part of that, some of the history of this area has come up, and it provided us an opportunity to address an outstanding issue that has been going on for about 24 years. So starting with the parcel in red, this parcel on Enid Drive, the township owns this parcel tonight, and this is the subject property, but I wanted to give a little context. So the township, this road was extended in 2001 north of Rickle Drive to serve Liquid Web, Yamazaki, which at the time was Lansing State Journal or something different. And then another business called Munters. So three big industrial buildings to the north. When that road was extended, it never was conveyed to be a public road through a number of factors. One of which was the Enid Drive, this parcel that the township does now own, changed ownership several times and ultimately was foreclosed upon. And that's how the township got it. So we got it for $300 in 2015. And that was kind of the linchpin in the issue with making that road public north of Rickle Street. So the thought was the township would buy the property, would resolve this issue. The developer would be able to make all of that public. Everything would be good. It hasn't happened that way in practice, but we are in a position now. We have a good relationship with the developer and further, we have a little leverage because the developer has a project on our doorstep. So one of the conditions that came out of the approval for this warehouse building the developer wants to build was a condition that said projects approved subject to this road, 1,500 linear feet of this road becoming a public road as was envisioned in 2001. So we're getting closer to that finish line than ever and are in good spot with the developer. They have been working. There were some physical improvements that had to happen to the road, to this area in general, in order for the road commission to accept it. So that work has been completed, facilitated by the township through our engineering department and done some inspections, and we're in a good spot with that. The Eaton County has inspected it. They are approaching being able to accept all of this. One of the last things in this process was getting queued up the ability for the township to be able to sign off on getting rid of this parcel. So as speaking for my role in staff, I mean, there is no, I think, strategic value in the township continuing to own this piece of property. So what we're proposing at this point is to authorize the manager to sign a quick claim deed, a highway easement release form, and any other documentation needed to get this process moving. And then we're doing the same thing. We're with the developer, Mike Davis, to ensure that his piece is also turned over. And we will not issue final site plan approval until that happens. One thing I do want to note, there's a purple sheet in front of you as an amended motion. So over the weekend, everybody thinks about work all the time, right? I had been thinking about I feel like the original motion was a little too narrow, and we're not exactly sure all the different documents that Brian may need to sign. I know that for sure the quit claim deed, I saw some emails that intimated that I think we also need to look at this highway release form. And then if there's something else, kind of wrote it more broadly so as to cover anything that might come up along the way. So if you're so inclined, there's a motion here on the purple, a revised motion to authorize the township manager to sign and submit quit claim deed, the highway easement release form, and any other documentation we need to get this section turned over to specifically the township parcel in red that's shown on the screen over to the Eaton County Road Commission. And then it'll no longer be ours. It'll be public roadway in perpetuity.
Thank you, Pete. Clerk Clark?
I'd like to make the motion, then I have a question for clarification. I move that the Delta Township Board authorize the township manager to sign and submit a quitclaim deed, highway easement release form, and any other documents deemed necessary to convey ownership of parcel 040-046-200-500-00 identified as Outlot A in the Delta Township Industrial Park plat to the Eaton County Road Commission for use as a public road.
Is there support? Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
I just have a question. So I'm confused about where the development is going to be. Is it, if I look at this red rectangle,
Mhm.
is it to the left? Is it that vacant parcel to the left?
No, it's actually to the north. So
So there,
Enid
so it
Drive-
doesn't show on this
it
map?
doesn't show on this map.
Got it.
No.
Okay.
Enid Drive proceeds north. It serves the three businesses I mentioned. And then now you can sign it. There's a little bit of a green square north of Yamazaki, and that would be the new development site. So it's on the east side of the highway. It's one of those lots just north of the building to the northwest of our parcel. And that project has received planning commission approval, but the condition keeps it in, we won't grant anything final until we get the developer's portion of this road, in addition to ours, public.
So has that project come to the board for approval yet?
It did not need
No.
to. It was a site plan review. It
Okay.
just stayed with the planning commission.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We are now on to the manager's report, I do believe.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor and board members. Thank you for approving that. That Enid Drive piece is something that years ago staff picked up to try to solve an issue, and sometimes these things take quite a few people and a lot of different efforts over the years. So I'm happy to see that moving forward. So thanks to Peter for picking that up and bringing it to the finish line. A couple things, we had the communication on the Willow project, so Willow Road is open. Most people are happy about that. Hunter's Orchard pathway is also open, so that project has completed. If you get a chance to get out and walk that, I know we have a ribbon cutting coming up, but turned out very nice. Trustee Mojica had brought an issue to me. I had been asked a couple questions. We do have tax bills going out here soon. They'll be mailed towards the end of the month and hitting at the beginning of December. We have a couple new things on there in terms of the bank drain and the special assessment. So someone had asked if they want to pay those so it didn't affect their escrow. They can do that. We'd like it before the at least before the 15th of December to avoid any risk of it being picked up by their mortgage company. It would have to be earlier than the 15th. So I don't know how many people would like to do that, but it's just in case we did have that question through Trustee Mojica. So that's helpful. I just also would like to last week, several of us attended the Regional Excellence Awards with the Lansing Chamber. I just want to congratulate our three businesses that were awarded the Regional Economic Award. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact name of it, but anyways, Ionetics, Tailgaters, and the McLaren Standalone Ambulatory Emergency Center. So three really good projects that really proud of our staff across many different departments, whether it be planning, engineering, building, fire department, manager's office, all touch those projects, and I had a lot of input, and they've all three of those have turned out very well and are great businesses for the township. So just congratulate them on their awards. And that's all I have, unless there are any questions from the board.
I want to defer to Mary or perhaps you about our sponsorship program. Can you tell us about this, Mary?
So I think about a month and a half ago, we kind of broached this information with the board to just kind of give you a heads up that we were going in a new direction with our sponsorships for our events. And our brochures are here, the website is up, and we are working this week to do an e-blast to several businesses in the township. I think our list is over 90 businesses at this point that we have that have been past sponsors. And we are working on expanding that list right now and getting contacts for that. So we are hoping to generate enough revenue to cover the out-of-pocket expenses for these programs. We'll see how this new approach goes. It's very structured and very streamlined, so they get an entire year of sponsorship for one price, and that includes all of our events. So they will have something there. We will have a permanent signboard. And two of our parks, both Sharp Park and Mount Hope Park, will have a permanent sponsor sign installation that will be there all year. So it's not only our events that get vision, but anybody that visits those parks. There will be a lot of bang for your buck.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate the work that's been done behind this. We knew that we were trying to be pretty tight with our budgets going into 2026 and beyond. And so we are looking for sponsors, as we've done in previous years anyway. So for the board members, if there's any companies that you have a relationship with, will you please let Mary know? So that if she's planning to reach out to them, but you might be a better connection to do and ask, we want that because we want all of our programs supported. This is the Delta Rock series, and they're getting a big bang for their buck because it's for the whole year. So they will be noticed as sponsors for all of the programs, not specific programs. So here's the brochure that's going to be going out in the mail to businesses coming up soon.
We will have a mailer to certain businesses, but we're going to do an e-blast first and see where we start from there.
Very good, good. And the sponsorship period of time in which she's trying to gather the list of who will be our sponsors for 2026 is December 26th. That's your date that you'd like to have all the sponsors identified.
That's correct.
So
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 we're
again-
collecting through the 26th for December 26th for 2026.
awesome. So board members, if you know of any businesses or have a relationship with any, please let Mary know so that we can make sure they're on the list, or perhaps you could reach out to them and tell them about our program and be a sponsor for 2026.
Do you guys have a goal in mind on how much you want to raise for all the events?
Since this is the first year, we haven't set a specific goal, but it would be awesome if we could cover, like I said, the
Cost.
out-of-pocket expenses. So I think that budget line is 25,000.
Okay.
The 25,000.
Yep.
Can you be an ultra main stage sponsor then at 25,000?
I guess if you want to sponsor it all.
Very good. We'll be looking to you, Josh.
Okay.
Awesome. And this certainly goes out to our wonderful residents. If there's someone you know, a business that you know of that we should be reaching out to, please let Mary Warland know. I'll be glad to do that. Yes, there's a question?
Well, a couple things. Very good job on this. We've talked about this before. Looking forward to see how our good corporate citizens may respond to this, because they're part of the community as well.
Mhm.
And I know over the years, I've seen a lot of the same names. It would be nice to see new names. They are different levels I see of sponsorship here. So, and the fact that they actually get something for it besides just a feel good, but it's, some free advertising to a certain degree, is a quid pro quo, so to speak. And as it should be, because, they're here in the community, supporting the community and with their business and all that as well. To Manager Reed, can you give us an update on where we're at, or where your office is at on the responsible contractor status? We had that discussion, presentation a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to know what your timeline was on that.
Sure. I believe that'll come back to the board in December. I did receive some written feedback from folks who were in the who gave public comment at the last meeting
Okay.
with
Yeah.
their requested changes. So filtering through those for another draft to bring to the board.
All right. So, okay. Another question is, I continue to see Dibble really ripped up that street. Do we know when that potential project might be concluding?
I don't know if Rick or Jake have any updates, that's the bank drain.
Yeah.
I don't have a timeline on when they're gonna be done on Dibbles Street, but we can certainly.
I haven't looked, but I'm just wondering if the bank drain has their website and their updates and all that. It would be nice that, their particular projects, much like what we try to do with our projects, like on Willow, if the Drain Commission's office could, update that and through their contractor to update that, to let the citizenry know just how far along and when the completion date is on that. I mean, that might be a suggestion that we might reach out to them on. Because it's just a mess through there, and with the wet weather and everything coming on, it's gonna be even more so. So,
Yeah, we can certainly
yeah,
pass that along.
all right. Thank
We
you.
have strived to get updates on that project in real
Ourselves.
time as well, and also because it has had significant effects on some of our projects, or have caused some potentially other things such as water main breaks and that
Right.
type of thing. So we try to stay on top of that project, but we don't always have real-time information either.
Well, it'd be helpful if they were at least sensitive to the fact that those types of needs and information requests are out there and they could fill that. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Brian.
And they do send emails out, so I don't know if you want, sign up for their emails, because they do provide updates. I get those emails. I signed up for their emails and they provide updates there. Anything else? Treasurer, okay, or anyone else? All right, we are down to a committee of the whole. We have nothing there. Are there any other board member reports from any meetings that you may have sat in?
I will tell you that E-Tran is exploring what they're going to do as a result of the millage failure. There will be E-Tran is a rural and they are not allowed to have fixed routes by statute. So it will be a first come, first serve, and the Service Development Committee is looking at the focus being on those with special needs, where we're trying to get people to their like chemo appointments and medical appointments. And trying to get people to book early out, since there cannot be a fixed route. We cannot go to a certain route to pick people up.
People then they call, is that because?
I'll have to call E-Tran and schedule.
An appointment,
Mhm.
pick up.
Because the impact of catapulting back is a reduction of Spectran services also, which was helping carry that burden. So law requires, I'm going to use the word law, I'm not sure that's the appropriate one, it could be regulation, requires a mile, a 3/4 mile service area on either side. And CATA had been doing a mile. So that narrows that down some also. So we're just trying to work together to figure out how we're going to meet the most critical of the needs.
Thank you for working through that. For those who need transportation. All right, we are down to public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment tonight? No takers? You guys are quiet tonight. Nobody want to come say anything? Hello? Bye-bye? Nothing? All right, well, we will go with that. If there is nothing further for this board, we are adjourned.